I am AI Avatar of CA Ratan Mundra. Welcome to today's detailed analysis of the EU-India Free Trade Agreement (FTA) and its impact on Indian exporters. The deal covers approximately 99% of EU tariff lines for Indian goods, but is it as simple as a tariff reduction? Let's explore the key opportunities and risks by product category and understand what Indian exporters must do to navigate this complex deal effectively. To understand how this FTA will impact your exports, we first need to define what product-wise means under an FTA. For each HS code, exporters must verify several things: the tariff outcome in the EU, the rules of origin, non-tariff requirements like REACH, CE, and traceability, trade remedies such as anti-dumping proof packs like origin declarations and certifications. Once the detailed schedules are available, this checklist will guide you in aligning your export strategy. Let's now break down the major product categories and their opportunities, challenges, and compliance considerations for Indian exporters under the FTA. Textiles and apparel are one of the biggest beneficiaries of the EU-India FTA. The sector, being labor-intensive, stands to benefit from reduced tariffs and increased market access. But there are a few key challenges to overcome. Rules of origin failure risk if fabric or yarn is imported, compliance with REACH, restricted substances in dyes and finishes, and buyer ESG audits. To mitigate these risks, exporters should create SKU-wise rules of origin files with a bill of materials, BOM sourcing maps, and production flow details. Additionally, pre-build a compliance pack with test reports, labels, and traceability documentation. The leather and footwear sectors are also expected to benefit significantly from the FTA, but exporters need to verify whether footwear will receive immediate 0% tariff or phased reductions. Key barriers like chemical compliance, REACH, material declarations, and product safety. Exporters should maintain component-level origin documentation, such as for uppers and soles, along with chemical test packs and a factory compliance dossier. Marine products, including seafood, are consistently highlighted as a top winner under the FTA. However, exporters need to focus on meeting sanitary and phytosanitary SPS requirements, EU veterinary certificates, residue limits, and traceability from catch to shipment. Maintaining cold chain integrity throughout the supply chain. To succeed, build an EU SPS master file that includes HACCP certification, residue monitoring plans, and traceability SOPs. The gems and jewelry sector is poised to see increased exports to EU hubs such as Belgium and Italy. But exporters must keep in mind KYC and anti-money laundering checks, responsible sourcing expectations for materials like gold and diamonds, mixed origin inputs, and the documentation needed to prove substantial transformation. Exporters should maintain a chain of custody and transaction documentation. Focus on products with clear proof of origin and target compliance-ready importers in the EU. Handicrafts are a key beneficiary of the FTA. With India's authenticity being a major selling point, the market potential is significant. However, exporters must be aware of material safety concerns, coatings, lead content, packaging waste regulations, and labeling claims. Standardized product safety documentation, including materials declaration packs, and ensure compliance with packaging and labeling regulations to avoid delays in customs clearance. Engineering goods are expected to see increased access, but exporters will face stringent EU compliance requirements, CE marking, harmonized standards, and technical documentation. The rules of origin risk if the products have high imported content, motors, electronics. Exporters should focus on products where CE compliance is achievable and create a reusable technical file to ensure that documentation is audit-ready. Automobile and auto components are also part of the FTA, with calibrated liberalization. However, challenges include EU type approval and homologation for finished vehicles, rules of origin and value content requirements for complex auto supply chains. Exporters should treat finished vehicles as a midterm goal, focusing first on homologation feasibility. For components, prioritize quality systems and origin accounting. Agriculture and processed foods are another key winner, but exporters must be aware of SPS MRL compliance, contaminants, and traceability. Labeling requirements for allergens and nutrition. To ensure smooth exports, create a product-specific SPS readiness pack, including test plans, supplier controls, and EU buyer audit readiness. If you export products like iron, steel, aluminium, cement, or fertilizers, the issue is not about tariff preferences, but about carbon emissions data and verification. The Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism (CBAM) will apply, requiring exporters to meet climate-related compliance requirements, build emissions measurement and documentation capabilities early, and explore decarbonization-linked support where available. Here are the critical gaps and oversights you must address to succeed under the EU-India FTA. Rules of origin compliance is the make or break factor. Without meeting origin requirements, tariff preference is worthless. Non-tariff barriers such as SPS, TBT, and reach often cost more than tariffs if unplanned. Trade remedies such as anti-dumping can arise quickly as export volumes increase. Be mindful of ratification timelines. Avoid contractual commitments assuming immediate entry into force. The EU-India Free Trade Agreement presents a huge opportunity for Indian exporters across multiple sectors, but successful implementation will require rigorous attention to compliance and documentation readiness. Make sure your business is prepared to meet the EU's high standards. Thank you for watching. For more insights on how to navigate international trade agreements, make sure to subscribe and stay updated. Moonsys and Management Consultants LLP, a trusted partner for SEZ and IFSC excellence. A pioneer in establishing SEZ and IFSC units within GIFT City and India, delivering end-to-end IFSC setup. Operational support and handling complaints, risk management renowned for deep expertise in regulatory approvals, capital markets, fund management, insurance, finance company, foreign university BATF, and ancillary regulations and fintech, expertise in customs clearance for aircraft and ship procurement, leasing, GST, DSPF, IFSCA, comprehensive support covering registration, reporting, and regulatory transitions, ensuring ring fencing, transparency, and global compliance standards. Join our network, scan the QR codes below to stay connected with us.